the Hecarim once again and see if they can keep pushing Huni on this one pick here, the Lee Sin in the top lane. Not expecting too many changes from Fnatic either, honestly. Maokai has been banned, loulex has been banned in every game from them as well.
Yeah, wouldn't expect any surprises out of the bans this time around. I feel like for Fnatic, and again, they don't have to pick this first, they could just go back to the Lissandra. Yes, it's been not as effective, but it was clearly Huni's next best champion out of all these.
It's a champion that is a lot easier to make big plays on, to pull off in team fights as well. For him, he's going to have a lot more impact in a team fight compared to a tank Lee Sin in that top lane. Unless Fnatic wants to run this double tank setup, well, he has to be able to adapt to something else. I mean, that's the big question, obviously. And we're going to have to wait and see what he picks in this game here. But the question is, can he play other top laners at a high enough level that he feels confident enough picking it in a quarterfinal? If they want to run double tank.
What could be their very last game.
Obviously, now it's all or nothing for Fnatic. If you lose here, you're going to play for 3rd place in Spain next week. But you're obviously not going to have the chance of going to MSI, which is what both these teams here want to do.
Not to mention, you're missing out on a serious amount of the championship points.
Yeah, that's very true.
We do see a slight mix-up. Sivir's banned away now from Hjarnan. We'll see what H2K want to answer with.
Last time it was a Gragas.
Yeah, and we'd also had like a Thresh first picked. I mean, again, they've neutralized a lot of those must first pick champions, especially in the top lane. I think the Gragas makes a lot of sense here, and they do lock it in immediately.
I really like this Sivir ban from Fnatic. I think it's the key champion for Hjarnan because it allows H2K to play the team fight so aggressively as well. And we know they like to 5-on-5. They're not the team who goes in and kills you one-on-one. They are team fight focused. And also Sivir offers you this fantastic fast push ability to always pressure these lanes and get damage on the towers and just slowly chip them away. So I think that's a very smart ban from Fnatic. And obviously the Gragas is very predictable. Been the same pick for loulex every game so far. Last time again where Fnatic did well, they went with the Nunu and Janna combo, and then they took it and gave Steelback illusion, where it then turned him into somewhat of a hyper carry late game because he had the buffs of Blood Boil and the Janna shield. I think they should do the same here. Also take that Janna away from KaSing. Or, of course, they can also switch it up and run more of a hyper carry style on Steelback itself. But then again, the Janna would have been fantastic for them.
Yeah, but this is also a bit of a denial from Hjarnan. I mean, there was that one Jinx game. It wasn't quite as impressive, but I think they're trying to also throw H2K off of picks that they'd be comfortable on, and they get a lot of damage potential out of this Jinx, a lot of mobility thanks to the Thresh as well, and they don't reveal the rest of their strategy. They have some time to think about where they want the mid, the jungle, and the top
And they
lane.
can still go Nunu next rotation because Gragas has already been locked in and we're not expecting it to go anywhere else but the jungle for loulex. So Fnatic can have a setup here where they really aim to protect Reignover and have a lot of fast pushing abilities on the tower with the Jinx here. And if you have enough protection, if you have a Lantern from a Thresh, that's one thing. But also what YellowStar can do is invade into the enemy jungle, get down to deep wards, which puts enough protection for the Jinx to start pushing down towers. Because if she's standing there hitting a tower and you have no wards, and a Gragas comes in behind you and shoots you back, or a TP from the likes of a Sion, I mean, you're dead, that's it. So you need proper vision around it. You need to be able to see if H2K has any wards behind you as well before you set up this Jinx here to start taking down the towers. But once they do, that's where Steelback can really shine. And that's also one of the reasons they picked Thresh here for YellowStar. More roaming potential as well than a Janna.
Haven't really seen Febiven Xerath for a hot minute. But it was
completely stopped playing it after 5.5, where there was the nerf to Xerath E, but it's still been a very good pick across nearly all other regions as one of these siege comps you can build, which Jinx would fit in okay with her fast pushing, and then you have Xerath for the long range damage and the wave clear. This is a change if they don't want to run Nunu with Jinx. This could be a top lane Rek'Sai then for, never mind.
Oh, okay, we get to mix it up.
Yeah.
So we get the Rek'Sai lock in. There's also the Vladimir now.
Okay.
So this is a bit different.
Very different. And Fnatic normally likes to save the mid lane pick. They can, of course, put the Vladimir mid lane, so it's a bit of a flex pick. Otherwise, it would go to Huni in the top lane. Very, very different now compared to what Fnatic has been running the last few games. This is a lot stronger in the team fights. Vladimir has become such a strong pick because all these tanks in the late game simply cannot burst him down, so he will always get to sustain back, and he of course scales so well into the late game. different picks from Fnatic. Suddenly very teamfight focused from them.
Yeah, this will be a very different style of game from them, and it doesn't rely on a really early snowball either.
Yeah.
They have a lot of options. I feel like backs against the wall here, that is what they've got to do. H2K now. Let's see what they decide to go with. Diana was left open, and the Kog'Maw is locked in with it. So a Kog'Maw without the Lulu. Won't see no Juggermaw, but they can still protect him.
And no Janna either, so H2K is running bit of a strange setup in the sense you have Annie, Sign, Diana who's gonna dive in onto the Jinx in these team fights here, while Hjarnan only has Odoamne really to peel for him. Well, I guess the Sign also will add in a lot of peel as a big front line, but normally you would have seen a Janna with it to protect it. But this is because if you look at the 4 picks from Fnatic, there's no hard engage. There's no hard engage on their side. There's only a tunnel in from a Rek'Sai into a flash to knock up Hjarnan, and that's it from Fnatic's side here. So H2K clearly trying to change it up a little bit and saying, we can have people diving onto Fnatic and still have a hyper carry who can match the Jinx in terms of damage late game. And he can sit on his own because there's no engage on the side of Fnatic. It is still a little bit strange. There's nothing to buff him. In this sense, I would much have preferred then. You ran the likes of a Janna, but because they have Diana here as well, you need something that can go in with her.
Oh, okay, so we do have a top Rek'Sai. Or wait, I don't.
No.
Wait, hold on a minute.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
Vladimir Tobin.
Yeah. That's where they're going to send it.
Think about this one before here, how H2K couldn't take LeBlanc because Zed was an option with Vladimir already being locked in, so you had the AP top lane and you could go Zed mid lane. Went for Diana instead and Zed into it. Funny enough, a matchup, a lot of Diana players doesn't really fear too much because you have your shield and you are very strong in the small trades in the laning phase in terms of auto attacks. If you manage to stack up your passive and then you pop your shield here to trade with the Zed. And you can build Hourglass, Nash's Tooth as well, which we know Rio likes to do. And then you beat the Zed late game in terms of split pushing. So we're going to have to see here what Febiven can do. Early on in the lane, I'll still give it to him. And I think he should be able to control the lane at least. You got the Rek'Sai as well, where loulex is on the fairly slow Gragas. So the mid lane pressure here is fantastic for Fnatic. If they manage to control that and force loulex to invest time around it, that means that Vladimir is safe in the top lane to just sit and farm against a Sign who's not going to kill him in forever, basically. And meanwhile, you got the Jinx, Thresh in the bottom lane, which many just want to farm in this sense here. And then it's going to be about what can Huni do on a Vladimir suddenly compared to a Lee Sin. I mean, we're talking very different picks.
We will see. But why don't you guys at home let us know if the favors change in this must-win game for Fnatic? Come on! Tweet us at LML Esports with H2K win or FNC win. We're going to check that one out in just a minute. The crowd has not stopped this hype. And here we go, on to the Rift. H2K 2-1 over Fnatic.
And if we really take a look at Fnatic's comp here, there's no tank from them. You're running Rek'Sai, one of their junglers left, which obviously benefits from her early aggression. Needs to snowball as a jungler, she gets outskilled by these Cinderhulk junglers like a Gragas in terms of team fights. You have the Vladimir, who's going to go for Outlast, who's going to go somewhat tanky in that sense. He might not even go Outlast in this game here. There's quite a lot of magic damage from H2K, but we typically see it. So you're not a massive tank there either. And the only protection there is for him is YellowStar for Steelback as his Jinx. So late game, H2K has so much to dive onto him and so little to protect him from Fnatic. That's very, very scary.
Huni runs right into Odoamne here and loulex as well. He's going to be in some serious trouble. He's going to pool immediately, level 1ing that one, and Reignover runs in.
I want to force him to flash.
Run in interference, and yes, Huni's going to have to pop his flash. Not the greatest way to start your game.
Look at Huni and the player camp here. Not happy about that one. Not the same player we've seen all split long as in this series here against H2K. Anyhow, again, the comp on Fnatic, in order for Febiven to be useful, he has to win his laning phase. Otherwise, the Diana can't beat him late game in split push. So he's not going to offer anything there. And in terms of late game team fights, while there's not a whole lot of protection for Hjarnan, the QSS will stop Febiven from killing him. And then suddenly you lose your purpose as a Zed. If you cannot split push and win that way, if you cannot dive the backline either, you don't offer a whole lot. And again, there's so little protection for Steelback. If H2K gets a good lead and gets these two tanks rolling, they're going to make it impossible for Steelback to do anything. So, mid lane matchup as well. Diana can start clock 5. Zed will always go for the long sort of 3 potions. And then we just see these early trades here where this is so good for Diana because she can keep getting these hits on the minions. So she stacks up her passive. And then she simply just sits on it and says, okay, you want to come trade with me? I'm going to smack you in the face with my passive every single time. Do a lot of damage on it. Obviously, she's less mobile, which means you can't gank her, which is what we're going to have to see from Reignover. He has to be so active on this Rek'Sai to snowball Fnatic in this early game. Otherwise, because they're not running double tank, they can struggle late in that game.
Let's take a look at how the top's going. Huni already still taking some damage. Odoamne got that level 2, of course, after clearing the Wolf camp. Sion style. I'm really curious to see how this one goes. He started with the boots. Boots and pots, I believe it's referred to.
Boots and pots, it is indeed. Well, Odoamne can push a lane in the early levels where Vladimir doesn't have enough damage to really push it back. Obviously, Vladimir scales so well.
You can see it changing already, though. Obviously.
Well, Vladimir scales so well with his levels. You gotta get that level 9 for rank 5 of your Q, lower the cooldown and everything, and the sustain you're gonna offer from it. But it's not a lane where Odoamne is gonna be able to do a whole lot in terms of like, there's no kill pressure really. It's gonna be a bit of a farm fest for him. And we're going to have to see what the junglers are going to do instead. We talked about how Reignover has to focus on the mid lane. It's a good way of shutting down Diana. And if Diana falls behind, it's so hard for you to do well in fights. Because you dive in and you're too squishy, you don't have enough damage to really kill anyone. First gank might come in. Reignover is there, so is loulex.
Looking to collapse here. Febiven already making his escape, but Rhea may not be so lucky. Febiven coming right back on forward. Reignover a little bit low in this one, and they both decide to back it out. Close calls once again. Not as close as we may have seen last game, though.
Yeah, flash blown from loulex. He's at Gragas. You're not that strong in skirmish. You just offer a whole lot of CC here in the early stages of the game. Now, Reignover is not done. You can see in your minimap, he's staying around this mid lane. They want to try and shut down Ryu early. It is the game plan for them. If Vladimir sits on her own against the Sion, that's fine for them. Just let Huni pick up the farm he can. If Steelback gets a farm lane against Hjarnan and KaSing on the bottom side as well, that's cool for Fnatic. In this sense, it's the mid lane that has to get the lead.
Mid lane indeed. Huni takes the tool out. They have been at each other's throats down there, but I feel like it's going to be a couple more levels before it really starts to turn deadly. We haven't really talked about the bot lane too much. It's been pushing in H2K's favor. Reignover's going to start favoring it now. And he moves in, sets up the pink ward, make sure he's not sighted. Hjarnan. Oh, flash flay and ignite from YellowStar. That means KaSing and Hjarnan could be in some trouble, but all that, the damage really wasn't there. But KaSing is now caught on a line who is also going to have to flash his way over the chopper, so they net themselves about 3 summoners for 2.
Yeah, nice little gank from Fnatic, but also well played from H2K. You saw Hjarnan, he flashed into the minion wave, so the hook from the YellowStar wouldn't land onto him. Meanwhile, loulex sees an opportunity to go in for some jungle because Rek'Sai has been spotted on the bottom side of the map as well for him. We'll keep talking about how this mid lane is the important one. Ryu has the wave in the perfect spot for him. He can't really be ganked this close to the lane. Febiven has to overextend a little bit to try and push it into the tower, and you still have a few potions left to sit there with your cloth armor. So he's always going to go for early arm guards once he goes back to base. loulex now spotted on the top side. Not a whole lot of kill pressure for him in any lane, honestly, on this Gragas. He should just focus on farming early on here, where Reignover is the one who has to make the plays. He might be able to pull it off here.
Gets pushed back, though, by KaSing, and there is a stun up as well. Reignover actually quite low, and he has to back away. So once again, H2K fended off this attempt. loulex continuing to roll through his own jungle. Reignover wants to take it back as soon as he clears this one.
And the reason Reignover is ganking the bottom lane at the moment is because the mid lane was stuck outside, just outside the tower of Ryu. So there was no ganking opportunity for him there. And therefore had to look elsewhere. And he knows he has to make plays on the Rek'Sai, obviously. And he's been doing it. 3 ganks already, forced quite a few summoners. Just hasn't been able to pull it off completely and get a kill. loulex keeps looking for something in his top lane. against Huni on this Vladimir. Diving is going to be fairly risky. Yep. All in though in the mid lane.
Yep, Febiven throws down the death mark, moves in on Ryu, but he doesn't have enough damage to polish him off. Meanwhile, loulex is going to go ahead and back to base.
Notice how Febiven wasn't going purely for the kill here. He didn't pop any summoners to try and see how low he could get Ryu. Instead, he ulted him to force him back to base, where Ryu can now push in the wave beforehand and deny some farm from Ryu here. That's why Febiven went for the all-in and didn't use any summoners. Just wanted to force him back to base. Try and control the pace and control the back timings in this mid lane here. Ryu will lose just 1 minion. He should be able to return for this cannon here. So not losing a whole lot, and he can now try and push it back the other way and see if he can deny anything from Febiven. Obviously Cutlass as well on the Z here, so you need that for your all-in potential. Always better than Brutalizer when it comes to all-in because of the 100 magic damage you get, and also the lifesteal is super good for you when you have all these traits for farm.
Yeah, you could say the same thing about Huni, although it's spell vamp for him. He has been pushed pretty far back on farm up in that top side. He's going to be uncontested for just a moment. But back in mid, yeah, Febiven, he's going to be the one trying to push back this wave now. And seems like it's going to be this way for a little while unless they check into a brush. H2K hanging 3 members deep here, hoping that Febiven starts to wonder. Well, Ryu's already back, so.
I really wish loulex was just sitting and farming. Your lanes have done a fantastic job avoid dying. Yet you're still behind, even though you haven't pulled off any ganks anywhere. You had the one in mid lane, which was counter gank, you had to flash away. You're sitting 20 CS at the moment, 10 CS behind the Rek'Sai. You're gonna outscale her anyway. Work around vision as a jungler then, and sit and farm, and just try and secure your lanes by placing down a few wards so you spot the Rek'Sai. And otherwise, let them play the game they're playing right now. Hjarnan KaSing has to be very careful though, they cannot overextend here.
Greyseeker hits KaSing in the back. Hjarnan goes down the ooze, gets caught by the hook. They won't be able to take him in.
And once again, H2K do a very good job disengaging. And they're just wasting Reignover's time, who still can just go back and farm though, because loulex is once again looking for a gank. He's not even level 6 on this Gragas. You want to play like this, pick Nidalee.
Yeah, I was a little bit curious here. Has been a bit of misfiring, I think, on all sides. Huni still having a rough time dealing with Odoamne. Kept up in levels at the very least. And he's got his sustain from the Hextech Revolver.
Yeah, Odoamne has really been controlling the lane so well, always pushing it in, denying farm from Huni, who's clearly missed quite a lot of CS on the tower as well. But it is one of these lanes.
Oh,
wow, he stole it.
Gets one back.
Beautiful steal from him. But
very
again,
nice.
One of these lanes here, once Vladimir gets level 9, he can really start just sustaining himself in the lane. He can start clearing with the E as well. So he's going to be fine. Obviously, you don't want to fall this far behind. But it's not like Stein is going to have any chance of killing the Vladimir.
No, but he can definitely keep him from farming up for quite a while. So as you mentioned earlier, really no kill pressure lane. But nonetheless, a lane that is going to be a little bit difficult for Huni, and he's definitely not had the greatest best of 5 as he could have so far. Fnatic will need to get his head back in the game if they want to keep their finals dreams alive.
loulex has hit level 6 now. He's looking for another one up in his top lane. Rek'Sai is ready for the counter gank. Ryu, oh, he can jump on.
He's gonna try to dash his way out of stage. Oh, the flash too!
Nice,
and he gets
first
popped
blood.
for first blood. Febiven gets it all.
Gets everything here. Such a nice play from him. Meanwhile, in the top lane.
Odoamne, there's the Hemo Plague on him as Reignover helps out Huni. Still not enough damage. Huni going really, really low. loulex coming in for the counter gank. Will he have enough, however? Reignover pops up. Barrel's gonna slow him down. The body slam not gonna connect thanks to the flash, but they forced the use of it. H2K should be okay with that one.
Yeah. Really, really big plays from Febiven in the mid lane. We know Zed is fantastic for him among nearly every single assassin in the game. But him getting this kill is so important. We've said it time and time again. He's the guy who needs to snowball in this matchup here. He needs to be so much stronger than that compared to Ryu, that simply there's no fight to be taken in a split push. And then suddenly the Zed can start dictating the pace of the map because he can push down the waves. He can then roam between the lanes, go for potential dives, or even keep killing Ryu. in the one-on-ones. So this is such an important pick for Fnatic. And off to a great start. Winning in farm, you now have Brutalize, you're gonna go for that last Whisper as well. Super fit on Zed already.
The CS advantage coupled with that kill is definitely gonna make it hard for Ryu to trade out. Forget he was able to snipe the blue buff away too, so already frustrating Ryu in this game. Picks up his own now as he gets ready to head back to lane. No dragons have really been eyeballed. It's been about 12 minutes into the game. Another low kill score so far. But H2K, they want this pace. However, they are falling further and further behind in this time around.
Yeah, that's the thing. Fnatic obviously need items on the Zed first before they can start split pushing with him or roaming between the lanes, and that's what they're waiting for. And then we can see Febiven start simply moving around the map after here, as long as they're doing fine in the other side lanes. Huni is still a little bit too far behind his bot lane, but they're trying another
down. There's the Tippers as well. KaSing and Hjarnan both run on to the Flame Chompers as Odoamne teleports in to try and push them all back. He's tanking up all the tower damage. And no one will go down there, but it was a close call once again.
Yeah, TP blown now. Huni didn't have his, he'd used it back to base beforehand. H2K looking to get this tower down instead. It's what they always like to do around this 12-13 minute mark. You simply make a power play, you invest more members than Fnatic has to defend it, and you just destroy the tower. Now they can either go for a dragon after, or they can decide to reset the whole thing and swap Hjarnan and KaSing to the top side and play against Huni here to get pressure on that tower, and that's how you start aiming for them. But this mid lane is such a big problem. After that kill, Rio's just falling even further behind. Let's see what happens here. Odoamne is
going to get juked.
Yeah, big time.
The rest of Fnatic are there, so H2K don't take either option. Odoamne could be in some trouble. He's going to be able to walk away. loulex may not be quite so fortunate as Huni polishes off a tower in the top. So even though H2K were able to get the tower take there, Fnatic answer back, and now they're in the position to start the dragon.
Yeah, should be able to pick it up. 2 guys recalling from H2K here. 3 guys now. This is going to be a dragon for Fnatic. They got the top tower as well, and nobody died. So they trade towers and pick up a dragon, definitely in favor of them. Also look at the wave on the bottom lane. That's going to be pushing up, I believe, towards H2K. So that's a wave Odoamne can pick up. And now we see the move from Hjarnan and KaSing, swapping up the lanes a little bit, moving mid instead. There's also what you do sometimes if you fear for your AD carry that he's going to get ganked and killed, or he's going to get in like a one-on-one situation against the Zed, then you put him mid lane with his support, and that's a very short lane, so it's easy for you to come down or back down to your own tower, and you can safely sit and farm, or you don't have to worry about being stuck in a side lane and suddenly killed by an assassin who comes in. So that's basically what H2K is doing, and trying to get some pressure on this mid tower at the same time.
They'll be able to do it. KaSing this time barely left Hjarnan alone. Small wonder with the Kog'Maw, but it does somewhat hinder what we'd seen him doing a lot during the regular split, which was attempting to roam around a lot on this Annie. And H2K, they've definitely changed up their playstyle to adapt to what Fnatic does. I mean, this is one of the reasons why they've been in this situation, despite the first game being anything but ordinary.
Yeah,
they're in a good situation overall, even if this game, this lead is still Fnatic's. They have to deal with the Zed, though.
Yeah, no matter what happens here in this series, in this game, these two teams are just fantastic stories, honestly. Fnatic losing 4 members, only YellowStar stayed. Completely new team, a lot of rookies coming in. I mean, Huni was straight out of solo queue in Korea, was on the practice team of Samsung. And that was it, never played OGN or anything. Into the LCS with him, they got Reignover, could be a bit of a translator for him. And then H2K on their side, I mean, Ryu itself, the guy who struggled in Europe to do anything because he simply couldn't communicate properly. And I saw an interview with Prolly where he talked about how KaSing joining was fantastic for the team because KaSing offered so much communication that made it easier for everyone else to play because they didn't have to worry too much about timers and everything because that was KaSing's job. And then the second big thing for them was that Ryu just got better and better at communicating. He got to learn the phrases and the terms you use in the game. And that suddenly allowed him also to become a bit of a shot caller. He used to be one of the main shot callers for KT Bullets when he played in Korea. Now that he can communicate properly, he can make some calls, he can make some plays, and he's super, super smart, and that's helped H2K together with KaSing joining. Suddenly everyone just got to the next level in terms of the shot calling for them, which is what they've been playing around so well the last few weeks.
Right, and it is really, really interesting when you see the trajectories of the two. You know, one team coming out of the Challenger Series, managing to, you know, get as far as they have and on the cusp of making a finals appearance in their debut split. And then Fnatic, a team that, you know, basically reformed under YellowStar's leadership and has become this whole new power that nobody really expected. I mean, this has just been amazing how the trajectory's gone, but let's see what happens here. Ryu might have bitten off more than he could chew here, but maybe he can find Reignover. Not quite enough. And Reignover is able to
meanwhile, though,
that one.
Here's the thing. H2K has 3 guys in the mid lane, so they're gonna push in on these towers. loulex getting caught.
Tower's down, though. loulex trying to away the rocket. Will whiz by his left ear. All right, I should say. Huni flashing in. YellowStar's one that is going to pick up that kill, however. KaSing now. Deathmark is on to Hjarnan. Enough damage. That will be KaSing is just getting chased around. Febiven comes up with the double kill. And just like that, 3 more members of H2K down, and it might be some tower pushing time.
This is what happens now when you're starting to lose your side lanes. We saw Febiven from that bottom lane. You could just roam freely from the bottom side up to mid lane and join his team. Same happened with Huni in the top lane after the kill onto Ryu here. H2K is suddenly collapsing, and the entire map is now open. You got a 3-0 Z that nobody can do anything against. Meanwhile, even Huni gets a because this is such a good setup by YellowStar and Steelback. Yes, they lose the tower, but by getting loulex so low, it's super easy. Look at the minimap now. Huni roam from top lane, and then Febiven roaming from the bottom lane. Nothing the members in H2K can do after they already got caught on the tower, and they would just end up dying, all of them.
The single target tippers on Huni too, it was a bit of a panic moment, I feel like. There just really wasn't anything that they could do after that, and it was just clean up city. Reignover was coming around the side anyways, so just like that, Fnatic have gotten themselves out to an impressive lead. There's going to be another minute and 10 seconds until the Dragon comes up. They've already secured the first one, but if Fnatic can keep forcing H2K to start fights, whether they're disadvantageous or not, I feel like they can definitely outplay thanks to Febiven Zed right now.
Oh, for sure.
The rest of the members have been positioned quite well.
Fnatic should just stick to 1-3-1. The Sign is never going to be able to do anything against Zed. It's just a matter of time before Febiven might even be able to jump onto Odoamne and kill him. And then that bot lane tower is suddenly open. Otherwise, you force Sign to sit back and defend his own tower, and you just keep roaming like Febiven is doing now. He gets another pick.
Another death mark on to KaSing. This time, the tippers lands on him. Febiven shadow steps back. Hjarnan, though, is going to be the target. The rocket won't hit him. Meanwhile, a shutdown goes over to Odoamne as he picks off Febiven. Huni is going to finish off Hjarnan, however. Steelback trying to move away the Acathian. Surprise, a ton of damage there, and a double kill comes in for Odoamne. The fight's going haywire. It's been a 2-for-2 so far with a double kill onto Huni, looking for even more, but Ryu wasn't finished off there. And the Praise Seeker doesn't hit either. Misfires in all directions, but maybe they can pick off Odoamne finally. 3 members of Fnatic collapsing on him. The barrel comes out to push him away. Will it be enough to save Odoamne's life?
Oh.
No, it won't, because the hook comes in and he goes down.
So Fnatic in the end here ends up winning the fight. It was a bit harder than expected, but we saw the same play. You push the 2 side lanes from Huni and Febiven, and then you just roam before H2K to that mid lane here where the fights are starting. Febiven coming in at first. Good stun from KaSing onto him here, stopping a lot of the damage and forcing him to go back. TP behind from Odoamne, but now, as you can see, Huni is about to join, and while they get a good pick on Febiven, damage is running out for H2K. Hjarnan ends up going down, another kill for the Vladimir. And we can see the playstyle from Fnatic and how hard it is for H2K to do anything because they're not strong enough in the side lanes to stop them from just keep pushing them down, push down the minions, roam in mid.
Now that being said, H2K were able to salvage some kills out of that situation. I feel like also they didn't lose as many members. It just seemed that Fnatic misprioritized where they were going. They didn't finish off exactly where they needed to, so Ryu made it out alive after that. But all the same, they secure themselves a dragon here. They're up several kills. They're up several thousand gold. And yeah, it really is. The side lane pressure is not working in H2K's favor until maybe now when Hjarnan brings a big wave up there. KaSing at his back, but it looks like we could have a collapse on our hands. Steelback's there to try and push him away, but won't be able to in time.
So what H2K did here is what you have to do if you're falling this far behind and you cannot team fight over objectives, is you trade. So when they go for Dragon, you push the top wave and you take that one down, because there's obviously not enough members to defend it, and that's exactly what H2K pulled off here. Problem is, look at your minimap once again. Huni and Febiven is on their way, picking a fight on the way as well.
Oh, loulex tries to knock him back. Ryu also very low. Febiven has turned his attention there, and now back to the top side. We'll see what can happen as the rocket isn't needed. Febiven comes with a pick on KaSing, but he still gets a kill onto Ryu. Oh boy.
Fnatic is getting everything. They're getting everything. H2K tried to do what they could do here and trade the tower for that Dragon. Maybe try and get a second one on the bottom side. But all the kills are going over to Fnatic. They keep roaming around the map. It's all started with this Zed being so strong. Solo killing Ryu in the mid lane. There's Dalo sitting and watching the game as well. We might go to game 5 here, Pyra.
We very
Unless Fnatic manage to mess this one up, then we will go to
Let's see what just happened, though. I mean, that was crazy.
So, Odoamne is stuck in the bottom lane. There's only 4 guys from H2K here. Huni spots them at first. Obviously, 2-on-2 fight is heavily in favor of Fnatic, while the rest of the team will get a pick on the KaSing. He flashes, and then Steelback, I believe he's like, he would almost hit KaSing. Oh, he would actually have hit him. And then he gets another one. And then you get Baron as well for them.
Well, at least loulex made it out. So Fnatic now definitely controlling the pace of this game. They secure the Baron, of course. Set their sights on the bottom lane as Odoamne runs back to his inner turret. Should be no sweat for Fnatic to mop this one up. Get excited for Steelback, and they keep on moving. See if they can take another tower.
Huni's been getting so many kills here. Despite falling behind in his lane, he's just been able to come down and clean up the fight for himself. Febiven obviously done the same for him. And now you got this Jinx suddenly positioned on a tower where there's no real threat of H2K engaging. And they will just end up dying. It's It's
not a full siege comp, but whenever you have a Jinx and a front line,
it is by no means a siege comp.
Definitely
but yes,
still
you got
siege.
Jinx. I'll give you that. You have the Jinx to push down towers. I mean, the whole setup for Fnatic is that Febiven is going to kill someone one-on-one, and then H2K has to send down a second guy to defend the lane, and then suddenly the Jinx can move into a tower and start hitting it because there's only 3 guys from H2K on that side of the map.
Exactly. They don't need a tanky frontline because they've got so many damage threats that H2K can't go in there safely anyways. loulex caught on a hook. Odoamne moves forward, but there's a flash out of Steelback as Fnatic regroups to try and still pick away at this tower. We'll see what they're able to get done. Still got the Baron empowered minions here. Hook's gonna connect on Odoamne. They throw down the Flame Chompers. His health bar starts to go down. Not fast enough, however. The siege will continue with the Baron empowered cannon minion.
No flash.
Not quite dead yet.
No flash for KaSing, so he can't start the fight. You have no ulti from Odoamne, so he can't do it either. loulex is the only one to try and shoot someone back. There's no flash for Steelback. That can be the way for H2K to start it, but it's going to be so hard.
There we go.
Fnatic, Huni.
He went around the side. He is able to force H2K back. They take themselves another tower. Odoamne sends out a big Roar of the Slayer to try and push them and push a minion back into him. Fnatic, I think, have had enough for now. They will back to base with a lot of gold in their pockets.
A lot of gold, and still a Zed that can do whatever he wants on the map. Nobody can stop Febiven in this game here. They won't be able to for another 10-15 minutes at least. Diana, he will eventually do well, but not when you've been set this far behind, as Ryu has here in this game. loulex as well is playing this super weird on the Gragas. Just the early game for him, he kept looking for ganks when he had no lanes to gank properly. Like, you don't have to try and force a play at this farm. And yeah, I mean, he has the symbol completed, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, and he built it on a Hunter's Machete, too. It's even stranger if he was trying to go for ganks. The fact that he let himself get so far behind to Reignover when Reignover wasn't being super effective to start this one off is a little strange. We'll see what happens here, though. Odoamne goes in, gets caught on the retreat path and pulled in, but he flashes. May not live, though. The rocket hits him in the back of the head. He'll try to cause some havoc as the rest of Fnatic move forward, but YellowStar might have been a little bit too hasty. Odoamne's secondary will finally go down as Ryu chases through Steelback, and it's going to be loulex picking him up, but Ryu not quite done just yet. loulex trying to bait a little bit more out as YellowStar is fighting with Ryu here. He's going to be able to pick him off, though. Just enough health reserves, and it is a 4-for-1 going over to Fnatic. Daylor cracks a smile after that fight. I would too.
He's ready for game 5 now, and I think Fnatic has finally realized that Lee Sin top is not the way to go for them. Looking a lot better in this game here. Obviously, the entire early game has been in their favor, with starting with Febiven being an absolute monster on this Zed. Still chasing loulex. Run around for a while.
Not if he's on a hook, but he does juke Reignover for just a minute. There's loulex going down. Took him a little while. Meanwhile, Dragon's back up. So now Fnatic, again, this will be their third. But let's see this fight again.
We see here why Thresh with Jinx is so good, because you offer her this escape tool with the lantern so she can get out of bad situations. And now Odoamne just caught. There's nothing you can do at this point. You get to execute in the very end from Steelback. Gets excited. And while Ryu can dive on and kill Steelback here, the rest of the team, I mean, if you look at the back here in H2K, they're just going to get destroyed by Febiven and Huni in the end. Even gets all the minions for himself.
Farming while fighting. That's what you call multitasking, Deficio. Yeah, with that, they pick up another dragon. That is their number 3. As Febiven has a little chuckle. They know. At least they suspect strongly that this is going to another game. 28.5 minutes in. Fnatic holding a massive edge over H2K.
And really not a whole lot H2K can do at this point, because you need time. It's the only way of starting winning fights later is by getting tanky enough on the Gragas and the Sion, getting Hjarnan obviously up to a point where he can become a hyper carry, and Fnatic's not going to give you that time. They can start setting up Barons, force you into a team fight there, give you over the Baron, and then suddenly your base is going to be open because you still can't do anything against the Zed. So H2K now has to start deciding, when do we just switch off and discuss what's going to happen in the last game. The all-important one. H2K will be on the red side, Fnatic will be on the blue side. And last time that happened, we had a Nunu first pick from them, from Fnatic side. We saw the Gragas again from loulex. None of the first picks has been the big ones in this series here. Nobody has had to have one pick.
Hjarnan.
That was super needed, and yeah. I think he was walking in to try and scrying up on the Baron.
Now, Baron's still a few seconds away. It looks like that won't be for much longer. Fnatic immediately turned for it as they've scared H2K senseless. They only need 3 members here. They've got enough damage between Steelback and Reignover. YellowStar is going to pull his way in as well. It's just starting to evaporate very quickly. They've got the split going from Febiven on the bottom side. Yeah, definitely H2K thinking about this next game more than anything else. We'll see how that one does go, but for now, it continues. They've got a Baron buff. Febiven actually cancels his back here. He still turns around because he sees many members of H2K coming up through the lane.
Game was very even in the early game until Febiven got that 1 kill. That was really what started the whole snowball, because suddenly Fnatic were forcing plays in other lanes, and with that play H2K made in the bottom side where they teleported down with Odoamne to take the tower, Huni got a lot of farm, got a tower in the top lane as well from it, and suddenly these outer turrets just started falling, and H2K ran out of options and were forced into fights by Fnatic.
Yeah, and it just kind of started snowballing from there. They've been able to amass themselves a serious gold lead in this one. Well over 10,000, about 16 at this point. And counting, Steelback just gobbles up farm through the H2K jungle. They set their sights on the top lane. Let's see what they can get done here. Things getting dunked down, Steelback. YellowStar in the front. Gathering up a little bit of aggro, and let's see what they can make happen here. H2K in mass to defend. There are Baron empowered minions here. He's going to take a little bit of damage. The Flame Choppers are down to deter Hjarnan from going any closer. Staying on rocket form. Steelback still gets some serious damage, but he takes a lot in return.
This is the chance.
This is the chance. Hemoplague's been thrown down. Huni going really low as he pulls away, hoping to get out from Ryu, but he's going incredibly low. loulex, he could go down. Yes, he does. It's Reignover picking it up, and he's running wild in the back. Huni has managed to stay alive. Febiven gets the timbers on him as he flashes forward to try and pick up KaSing and avoid the Acadian surprise. And it's a double kill going over to Reignover. Odoamne caught in a hook, forced to retreat from his own base. Fnatic train wrecking through H2K's base, and 32 minutes into this game, we'll see how it goes with the rest of the Nexus turrets falling. But Deficio, Fnatic out really wanting this one. Looks like we're going to game number 5.
Yeah, and unlike that game 2 where Fnatic still managed to win, they did fall slightly behind to H2K in the mid game, then came back. This game here was all about Fnatic. From that first spot in the mid lane from Febiven, H2K had no chance. They were so far behind from that. Not a single time in this game did we have what we consider a very close fight. I mean, I guess that was the one in mid lane, ended up in a 3-for-2, but that was it. Like, there's no situation where we were like, okay, H2K has a chance to get back in the game here now. Get back in the game. No, Fnatic, they controlled everything. All led by Febiven on the Z here. Last pick, obviously, into Diana.